I attract my dream body?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to this week's mini dose. Super excited today because we have a wonderful listener question. Listener Susie asks, how do I attract my dream body? I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. So this chat is going to be really focused on how our thoughts create our reality. You know, we really want to build out the concept that our beliefs control our biology. So we're going to talk today about that a bit more. You know, I believe that we have it the wrong way round. We feel that if we get our dream job, our dream body, our dream partner, we will be happy. And really, this is what I think is the hard way. There's a better way. There's an easier way. There's a path to least resistance, because when you feel good, you actually attract what you desire. So we just need to flip those concepts. And we're going to talk more about that today, because if this is new to you, this might seem a little strange and maybe not that intuitive, but we're going to try and help you get there. When you feel good, you really become a magnet for what you desire, because it feels really, really good to feel good. And then you attract feeling good more. So it's like a muscle, and it needs training. It needs exercise. The more you practice feeling good, the easier it becomes to really access that feeling and attract what you desire. How about this? Have you ever noticed how good it feels to be around happy people? I'm a student of Louise Hay, and one of the things she says is that it feels really good just simply to think happy thoughts. It's that simple. So I'll illustrate this with a story. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was telling me how that she was trying to fill a role in her team because someone had left the company, and she was upset, and she was telling me how difficult it was to fill this role, how specialized the role was, how incredibly hard it would be, that there wasn't anyone around that really fitted the description, and if they did, they'd be working for themselves. It was that specialized. And so, being what I thought was a good friend, I empathized, I listened to her talk, I tried to make her feel better. And I hung up from that conversation, and I realized I sat in empathy and compassion for her, which is all really good. But then I realized I hadn't been a good friend, because I really hadn't helped her sit in attracting what she really wanted, which was to fill this role and to make her life so much easier and to make her business so much more abundant. And just to be super raw and transparent with you and authentic, I'm going to read you the message that I sent afterwards, because it taught me so much about aligning with sitting in integrity and really speaking up for what I truly believed in, even though I wasn't sure how my response was going to be interpreted. So I wrote her a message afterwards, and I said, I've been thinking about your situation with the job. My guidance is there is a lot of resistance around you getting what you want. And this is what we humans do, isn't it? We ask for what we don't want unintentionally. So the message I heard from her was, this is such a hard role to fill. Nobody fills this criteria. If they did, they would be working for themselves, etc., etc. So instead, focus on attracting the exact thing you want. How about using words like, it's so easy to find the perfect person, and that person leaving made space for that to happen. What a gift that was, that person leaving. Visualize the person doing the job, the joy that brings you, how relaxed and satisfied you are with this feeling of having found the perfect person so easily, effortlessly, quickly. So energetically, we have to get you both attracting the ease and enjoying the journey. How does that resonate for you? This is moving you to being powerful rather than powerless. Life is happening for you and not to you. Hey, so notice any resistance that might come up from you even just reading this message. When I work through this stuff with clients, it can stir emotions, even anger. Welcome that and release it. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you. So that was a message that I sent her, and I'm so happy I sent it because it was really welcomed with open arms and excitement and hope. And we had planted a seed that we were asking for what we didn't want, both of us, because she told me and I agreed with her. So we both sat in that. So the contrast between feeling resistance around that is actually good because it shows you what you don't want. So it's like great to thank, to thank that situation for being there, to thank that for happening, because it's made you realize that you're not aligned to what you really want. And then you can focus on that. There is such a great research study to show how this works by a Japanese doctor, Dr. Masaru Emoto. So you might know these experiments. They're fascinating. So what he did was expose glasses of water to various words, pictures on music, and then froze the water and examined the frozen crystals under a microscope. He showed the positive words and emotions. He played classical music. He prayed directly, and the water produced the most amazingly beautiful crystals. It was incredible. So, and you can look up, you can see the crystals in the shape of love hearts when the water has been spoken to with loving words, and when the water was spoken to with negative words and crude music like heavy metal, it produced these really ugly, angry looking crystals. I mean, how fascinating. And I find this absolutely fascinating, given 75% of all biological tissue, including the human body, is water. So what are your thoughts doing? What are my thoughts doing to my crystals in my body? The question I ask is, why would we waste our thoughts on anything other than love and hope and beauty? I want to know, when you look at yourself in the mirror, what is the conversation you're having with yourself? Is it one of love? First of all, are you actually acknowledging yourself? Good morning, Jackie. How are you feeling? I'm so happy that you had a great sleep. You're looking really awesome today. It's going to be an amazing day. Is that the conversation you're having? Or is it more critical? We're so critical of ourselves. If we do take the time to acknowledge ourselves, it might be nitpicking at the crow's feet in the corner of your eyes, or the wrinkles in your forehead, or your butt not sitting quite how you want it to be, or your lower belly having a little bit of a pouch after the holiday period. I want to know, is the conversation you have with yourself first thing in the morning when you first wake up, is it one of love, or is it one that's going to make your water crystals angry? Because who would want that? So it's a good time, I think, to reflect on what that internal chatter is that's going on. Tony Robbins once said, if you examined all of the thoughts that were going on 80 or 90% of the time, they would be the same thing. So imagine if that thing is, I hate my butt, I'll never find a partner, I hate my job, I don't like my thighs, they're just expanding beyond belief. So I think we have to acknowledge what's going on, and an awareness of that is the first step to change. So let's get practical. If this is you and you're sitting here listening to this and you are hating on yourself in some way, you're just nitpicking and you're critical of your body and your lifestyle, your job, your relationships, there's a lot of momentum around that, isn't there? So you can feel the resistance. It's all things that are going in probably the opposite direction of what you want. When I work with a client, a lot of the time they're coming to me, they might have gut issues. They're not digesting food well. They've got pains. And I have a chat to them about what's going on. I was talking to this particular male client, and he said, I've always had gut pain. I can't seem to tolerate any foods. And my wife, she's got iron guts. So, she just does so well. She always has. I'm the complete opposite. And I was listening to him talk, and I told him about my functional medicine program, where we really look and take a deep dive into the microbiome. We see what's going on with the gut lining. We make sure that's all nicely healed and sealed. We do the right sort of testing, and there's very advanced testing now. So it's super exciting to see what's actually going on at a DNA level in the body. And I get very excited about that. And he was excited about that because we were talking about really moving him forward. And it all makes a lot of sense when you explain that you're investigating the why. And then he asked if we could move forward with the program. And I had one question for him. And that was, so I've noticed, my observation is that the language that you're using is one of what you don't want. You're talking about all the things. You're talking to me about the goal being to resolve your gut issues, but then your whole being, all your energy, all of your energy is focused on what you don't want, the pain. You've always had this. You can't tolerate any foods. Nothing agrees with you. So I can't take you on unless you understand the concept that we need to move away from using that language, and we will reprogram that language to be language of abundance, language of health. And it's not just abundance in your body or in health or in your gut. It's abundance in your relationships. It's abundance in your business, because that is what true vitality means. He had positioned himself so far away from his wife that he felt had the best gut health ever. And what we needed to actually do is really get him focused on feeling, living, breathing, and talking about his gut health to be the same as his partner's. And, it's a great story because he is very passionate about that space, understands the concept, and is able to really accelerate his results. You are always going to sabotage yourself if you don't use the power of thinking in terms of what you want and what you don't want. And Dr. Daniel Amen called these ants, automatic negative thoughts. If you quieten down, you will hear them. So my guidance is to be conscious, to consciously become aware of them so you can transform them. The first step is to become consciously aware of the contrast between asking for what you don't want and asking for what you want. So we thank them for showing up, thank them for helping you grow, thank them for helping highlight what you don't want, and then we can move on. It's fine. I suppose it's fine to say, oh, that's all really well and good. But when I'm sitting in, a position of hatred, hating my partner or hating my body and looking down and, being grossed out, by my, by seeing things sag and all that sort of thing, Jackie, how do I get out of that space? And I would say, I'm a student of Abraham Hicks, and she always taught me, if there's so much momentum around that situation, it's going to be really hard to stop it. You can't exactly say, don't think about that, because what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to think about that. It's like telling a child, don't touch the stove, it's hot. The first thing they do is they touch the stove. So the subconscious doesn't hear the word don't, they just do what you've told them not to do. So we can't just not think about what you've been thinking about in terms of not liking your body and supporting your body. What we can do is, if you can't go to bed and have a nap, a really good tip is to get into the feeling, to have a situation on hand that you can immediately jump into that makes you feel really good. And I'll tell you mine. And look, we wouldn't be human if we didn't have these automatic negative thoughts. The trick is how to get out of that momentum as quickly as possible. So over the last 6 months, I've ritualized a habit, which is going for a sunrise walk. And I take my dog and we go to the beach and I wade through the water and I look at the headland and I watch the waves, and I've just got nature surrounding me and my feet are earthed into the ground, and I throw the ball to my dog Cookie, and I get so much joy out of this situation, looking all around and appreciating the environment, and that I am able to be in there, and that my legs are able to walk, and that my feet are able to feel the sand in the toes. And I love watching Cookie throwing the ball as far as I can, so I can just watch him sprint 300 meters to get back to me. You know, it's a situation that brings me so much joy. So when I'm sitting in any automatic negative thoughts and I've caught myself, I can immediately get into the space of feeling better by putting myself back on that beach in a space of appreciation, in a space of watching Cookie sprinting as fast as he can towards me with the ball in his mouth, salivating. And hopefully you can feel the energy around that. The energy around this is one that is so positive and so productive, and one that attracts more of this joy than sitting in a place of, you know, looking down and not being happy with exactly where my body's at the moment. Does that make sense? So a beautiful quote by the late Dr. Wayne Dwyer says, manifesting is not about attracting what you want. Manifesting is an understanding that you attract what you are. I want to leave you with that quote. It's helped me so much to get into the energy of feeling good and know that the more I feel good, the more I will attract what I desire. So whether that's my dream job, my dream partner, my dream family relationships, my dream body, to answer the listener's question, that's what really helps me create my reality. I'll see you soon. Keep reaching to feel better, because the world needs you to feel good so you can share that very special gift that only you have. And if you want more, check out my next video here.